You look familiar to me. Have you been here before?
I came and did the Sargam class in the fall with Alam, but
Maybe I
other
saw
than
you.
that, that's it.
So what's everyone's name?
I'm Andy.
Andy, hi.
Hello.
I'm Patrick.
Patrick.
I'm Karen.
Karen. Great to meet you guys.
Good to meet you.
Thanks for your patience. It's been sort of an odd beginning of the term here, with traveling and other things I've had to do. But I know that you're in very capable hands with William.
We heard you were in China.
I was in China for 2 days.
Wow, that's a short time to be in China.
Yeah, I was teaching there for a couple of days, teaching some workshops. So, yeah. So just, I always like to know, especially for this class, people's any musical background, if any, just so I kind of know how to dig in. So I know you said you did the Sargam class, but do you have any other background with any music? Not
Like
just
a million years ago, in the late 70s, I took some classes at a community college. I was actually in a country western band. I
Cool.
played guitar and bass and
Right on.
messed around with it. Then I got married and had kids, and I left it alone for about 30 years. And just the last few years, I've become quite an enthusiast in kirtan music.
Oh, cool.
And I got to know Jai Tala a little bit,
Great.
and he told me I needed to take the Sargam class with Alam.
Yeah.
And then I took that class, and he told us about apps and so forth for the Talas,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't get it. I just would listen to it. I couldn't find the beginning or the end, or the rhythms or the cycles. And okay, I need to take the Tala class because I just don't get this
Cool.
rhythm stuff. So that's
Perfect.
why I'm here.
Awesome. Awesome. Tell me your name again.
Oh, Andy.
Andy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Patrick.
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 Yeah.
Like St. Patrick's Day is coming up.
Yeah, you'll be able to remember that one.
At least for a day.
I've had a lot of personal experimentation with music. Like, I've just taught myself through watching other musicians and like browsing across books and the internet
Yeah.
for the past few years, and
Cool.
I'm trying to figure out my style. It's so weird. I've been externally influenced by a lot of like the Western music around me, but I have this like internal like, I don't know, I just want to play with like really weird rhythms, and that's what's kind of brought me into this.
Cool.
And now I'm studying the tabla as well.
Oh,
I
good.
just started though.
Great, great. Which William is also teaching, right?
Yes.
Great, good. Awesome. Good. And do you play any other instrument or?
Piano is where I started, and guitar, and now I'm learning violin and other strings and whatnot.
Great.
But yeah, I'm just all over the place. I'm trying to like hone in on something.
Good. Good. Awesome. Good. Thanks, Patrick.
Again, it's Karen.
Karen, thank you.
I've taken 2 tabla classes with Nikhil.
Oh, good.
I'm not taking this semester, and that's the only musical background that I
Wow.
have other than playing around with the bass, just
Yeah.
memorizing tabs,
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
around. But
Okay.
that's it.
Great. Great. I'm just going to turn the light on because it will get darker in a little bit. So William said that you guys went over a little bit with Tintal and different speeds and Japtal and different speeds. Anything else? Mostly that?
Mostly that.
Okay.
We messed with the T high.
A
at the
little
end.
bit of T high. Okay, great. So I'm gonna step back from the talas first and just talk about and give us some exercises to work on just some pure rhythm concepts. Now we'll use syllables. Some of them will be some South Indian syllables. The South Indian system's a little different than the North Indian. Some was very different, but in the beginning levels, it's not that different at all. And we're going to dissect just one beat of music. So it's still Tala class in the sense of rhythm cycle, but we're going to be in a cycle of one beat. Okay? So start with me here. So we'll use one syllable to express one per beat, and the syllable will be ta. So just ta, 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 ta. Very simple. This is our unison. Ta, 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 ta. Now dividing the beat in half, we're going to use the syllable ka. So ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka. So 2 per beat. If you've ever done Western music, these are your 8th notes, right? Ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka. Now, for 3 per beat, ta stays on the downbeat, instead of ka, we'll say ki, and then a soft T sound ta, or te. We'll say ta, like pakita, 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 pakita. Go back to taka. Ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, good. Ka. Accent the top. Ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka. Accent the cut. Ka, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta. Now three. Ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta. Accent the ta, ta, kita, 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 kita. Go back to taka. Taka, taka, taka. So we have two phrases, taka and takite. Takita. We're going to stay in two per beat. Taka, taka, taka. But then phrase in three. Taka, taka, takita, 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 ta. Accent the top. Takita, 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 ta. So this being Tala class, or a class on cycles, you could say, we have two rhythm cycles happening now at the same time. We have a cycle of 3 happening with our hands, and a cycle of 2 happening in the voice. Meaning, and here's how we got here, I'll go backwards. Ta-ka, 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 ta-ki-ta, 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 ta-ki. So 3 here, ta-ki-ta, ta-ki-ta, ta, accent ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. So 3 and 2 are happening at the same time. Ta, ki, ta, ki, ta, ta, ki, ta, ki, ta, 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 ta. Go back to taka. Taka, taka, taka. So we haven't changed the subdivision at all. We're still 2 per beat, a pulse of 2. Now let's go back to pulse of 3. Ta-kita, 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 ta-kita. Phrase in 2. Ta-kita, taka, 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 taka. Accent the ta on the cut. Taka, 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 taka. Now accent just the top. Ta, 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 One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Taka, 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 ta, kita, ta. Okay. Confused?
A little bit.
Okay. So for me, it's very important to. Why don't you guys come a little closer here? To understand these concepts and practice these skills, this is what builds your rhythmic sensibilities and is going to strengthen not just Indian music but any kind of music. So what we're talking about now is how we subdivide the beat, right? So if we're not dividing it at all, I'm just using this syllable ta, right? If I'm dividing it in two, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka. Pretty simple. 3. I'm using these 3 syllables. So ta, 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 ka, ta, ka, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita. So that's our first step. Now, as soon as we get here, we have 2 different sounds. We have 2 possibilities. Well, even from here, we have one possibility of how the sound that we're saying, or if we're playing tabla or playing bass or piano or anything, how what we're playing is relating to the beat. Okay. So here, the relationship is 1-to-1. It's just right on the beat. Ta, 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 ta. Now, even to do that can throw people off. Right? Do you guys ever see The Jerk? Right, where he's like, oh, Grandma, I got the beat. You can throw people off, right? You like just ta, 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 just being in unison with yourself, right? Now, this ka is right in the middle of the beat, so we could call it the upbeat, right in the middle. Downbeat. Where that comes from is actually from like Western conducting. Downbeat, upbeat, downbeat, upbeat, downbeat, upbeat. So meaning we have to feel comfortable expressing that upbeat, that it doesn't throw off our relationship to the downbeat. So again, our unison, ta, 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 ka, 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 ka. We have to feel comfortable with that. Now it gets a little trickier once we divide in 3. It's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. Each of these, at the end of the day, each of these rhythmic places they have a feeling quality to them. Hi, right? So ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, ta. Again, it's just unison. Ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita has a certain feeling. Ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, kita, ta, 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 ta. So we have to practice that to feel comfortable with those 3 places. If we don't feel comfortable with them, then rhythmically we're going to get thrown off as we're listening to music, playing music, whatever it is. Yeah. Now, what I did with you guys, can you see with this thing here? So starting right away, going back to 2 per beat, this is where we're generating rhythm cycles. I said, okay, I didn't say this explicitly, but what we started to do is a cycle of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Taka, 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 right? But then keeping this pulse of 2 per beat. So we're not changing that subdivision of 2 per beat. We just introduced this other phrase. It's a 3-syllable phrase. So it goes on and off the beat. Now,
so the only one that he did was verse, and 3-1. That's the only 2. The other guy.
the phrase is 3. Takite, takite, takita, takita. But we're still only 2 sounds per beat. You with me so far? So the phrase is not taki, ta, ta, kita. We're not doing taki, te, ta, kita, taki, te, ta, kita. But taki, 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 taki. Look at it if I do with numbers. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, See what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really good.
Now, if I just start accenting,
Part of the class, like.
25 minutes watching this on YouTube.
so this is doing taka and takite, right? I could do the same thing, sort of the inverse concept.
Well,
We're playing like shit.
yeah, I know, but I mean, the thing itself is not that hard. That means that it's something that
We know the board in our head.
So now we're back to 3 per beat. Can you see that okay? Takite, 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 takite. But now I'm going to phrase in 2, so it's sort of inverted.
like that we were playing. It's not like
We were playing it like it was disco.
it is the same. Yeah. I just, so we were just fine.
You were saying it was not disco.
What's its state for you? How do you know?
See what's happening?
Well, no, we're keeping that.
So takite, 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 taka, 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 taka. Taka, 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 taka. Now if I accent the tas, ta, 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 ta. I have 3 in the voice and 2 in the hand, or 2 per beat, or a cycle of 2 beats, but at the same time a cycle of 3 beats with my voice. Takita, 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 taka, 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 ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now where is that? Where are those 3 notes falling? So I'm going to go from here to here, and then sort of halfway back here. So watch me. Takita, 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 taka, 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 ta, 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 takita, 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 ta, ta, ki, ta, ta, ki, ta, ta, ki, ta, ta, ki, ta. These 3 places are where it's falling. Takita, 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 takita. See what's happening?
Yeah. No, but I'm saying.
Don't think about it too much. Don't analyze it too much. But I want you to have a visual because that can help. Okay?
I'm just wondering the difference between the first
Great
line
question.
and the last line.
Great question. The first line. Two per beat. Taka, 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 taka. 2 per beat, 3 beat cycle. So we're dividing the beat in 2 places. Then we start phrasing in 3. Okay? The second one is 3 per beat over a 2 beat cycle. Takita, 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 taka, 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 taka. Then we start phrasing in 3. So they're inverted. Now what's the same is you have 3 phrases of 2 and 2 phrases of 3. Here? Wait a minute. No, that's not the same. It's not the same at all. You have 3 phrases of 2, 2 phrases of 3. 3 plus 2, or 3 times 2 equals 2 times 3. Right? Here, 3 phrases, or 2 phrases of 3, 3 phrases of 2. 3 times 2 equals 2 times 3. So that's where it's equal. Meaning, this line and this line are equal to each other, this line and this line are equal to each other. In terms of the number of individual syllables. Yeah. Now, all of that is not important. What's important is the feeling of all of this. Yeah. So I've already overstepped my bounds because what I'm doing is indulging in
The Western mind.
the Western mind. It's important though, because to get, like when I was teaching in China, like by the second day I wrote some of this down and they're like, oh, okay, because we're an incredibly visual culture.
plus the mind can kind of like, if the body doesn't understand it, the mind can keep throwing it on paper or something, or we.
Yeah, you can.
So then we can
visualize it.
practice off that.
That's right.
Then once the body gets it, it's stored, you know.
Now, so what's the point here? And granted, we've only gone up to dividing the beat in 3 places, okay? The point is you need to feel comfortable when, as soon as you start subdividing the beat, feeling those subdivisions, right? So again, starting from taka, ta, cut, 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 cut. That upbeat, that feels totally cozy and comfortable. You played in a country band, that should sound familiar to you, right? Or you're in a gospel church, you're going to hear this, right? Now, if you go into 3, takita, 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 takita. It's a little, you're not going to hear this exact rhythm on the radio that much. Not that it doesn't exist, but takita, takita. Go to the 3rd one. Takita, takita. Now this you'll find. Find meaning this kind of groove you'll hear in popular music, whatever. Shuffle. Now, jumping ahead, and this is not something I normally do in this kind of class, but you also have, well, even going back to taka, so you have taka, taka, ta, there's your downbeat, taka, taka, taka. There's one more possibility. What is that? Do both. Taka, 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 taka. Those are your 3 possibilities. It's a little hard to snap that much, but if you walk and do this, it's easier. Or you could keep the beat with one hand and do the play it with the other. So like taka, 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 taka. Those are your 3 possibilities, right? Now it gets more interesting when we get to 3 per beat. Takita, 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 takita. After this, so we've just expressed each possibility of 1 syllable in 3 per beat. Now, what's the next thing that we could do, sort of logically, that we need to do to master our study of 3 per beat?
Put the 2 inside of that. Do the taka inside of the 3. Taka.
No, in a way, that's getting more. That's a step ahead to this next thing I wrote out here. But before we even get there, what can we do to strengthen our skill in 3 per beat? Just take every possible 1, meaning 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd place. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or takita, takita. But now we should do combinations, right? Meaning, if you look at the first 2 syllables, takita, 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 taki, 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 taki. So there's a rhythm out of that. So that's combining 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And the point is, can you keep somewhere also the beat at the other end? Or if you're standing up, stepping, so what am I doing? And right now I'm both left, both left, both left, both left, or you could do both right, doesn't matter. Yeah. Now, the one that's doing 2 sounds, just rest that, just takita, takita, takita. Now try it. Takita, 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 takita. Good. There's one more. What is it? Takita, 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 takita. way I'm doing it. You could reverse it. Left both, left both, left both, left both. Da, da, dee, da, da, dee, da, da, dee, da, da. And the final thing. Da, dee, da, da, dee, da, da, dee, da, da, dee, da, what we're practicing are rhythmic intervals, like when you did the sargam class, or if you study Western music in a formal way, and they want to get you to sing from the first note of the scale to the second note, first note of the scale to the third note. These are melodic intervals, right? We're doing sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da so ha re sa re 1 2 1 2 sa re ga ma pa sa. So you practice. Can you feel comfortable jumping from one to the next? It's the exact same concept, but rhythmically. They're just rhythmic intervals, meaning spaces from one place to the next. Right? First in 2 per beat, then in 3 per beat. You following so far? Now we have to practice it. I'm not saying following doesn't mean that you've mastered it, but as long as you get the concept, right? Now, jumping ahead is when I started to mix and match some things here, right? So go to the phrase on the left here. We have taka, 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 right? I've now created a 3-beat cycle. So did William sort of teach you some of these clapping patterns? Like for Tala? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. So for whatever reason, we clap, and then the second note always goes to the pinky, ring finger, middle finger. In the South Indian system, then you actually can go to this finger, and then you cycle back around. But so right now, for a 3-beat cycle, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now to subdivide. Taka, 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 taka. Now you phrase in 3. Taka, taka, takita, 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 ta. Good. So you have, what's happening there? You have a cycle of 3 beats. You have those 3 beats divided in 2 places each. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then you're choosing this other phrase of 3 syllables, takita, to superimpose over that subdivision of 2. And it creates this people call this polyrhythms, which is, to me, it's a misnomer. It's a polycycle. There's 2 equal cycles happening at the same time. Meaning, if I start accenting that ta, taka, 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 taki, 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 ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. I have 2 in the mouth and 3 in the hand. Ta, ta. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you're developing that skill to feel both at the same time. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
Would
Yeah.
you mind demonstrating the 3 per beat, the
Yeah.
taka, taka, taka?
Yeah, so I'm going to go to that one now. So now, subdividing the beat in 3, we have a 2-beat cycle. Ta, ka, and we'll just do like this. Ta, ka. This is, again, I'm sort of borrowing something from the South in terms of the clapping pattern. But takita, ta, a little slower. Takita, 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 taka, 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 ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, taka, 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 takita, 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 takita. A little harder. Why? That subdivision of 3 is trickier. It's trickier. You have to be more comfortable with each of those. So what I did when I came back, which I showed you guys before, is I'm keeping the accent tak, 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 taka, but I'm showing how it fits over that framework of takita. Takita, 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 taka, 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 tak, 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 takita, keep, tak, ta. Sorry, tak, ta, keep, takita, keep, takita, keep, ta. You see what's happening? You have it? Are you understanding it?
Understanding it, but like you said, I gotta practice.
Yeah, we'll keep working on it, not a problem. Let's jump ahead to 4 per beat. Now we could just say taka, 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 but let's differentiate it a little bit. So I'm going to add 2 more syllables. So to that taka, add di-mi. You could write it as D-I-M-I. Taka, di, taka, di-mi. So these are South Indian syllables. There's no, up till now, ta, taka, takita, if I put a set of tabla in front of you, you can play those syllables on tabla. Taka, dimi, are not tabla syllables. They're actually not even South Indian drum syllables, but they're vocal percussion syllables, so we'll use them. We could use other ones, but we'll use these. So now 4 per beat. Taka, dimi, taka, dimi, taka, dimi, taka, dimi, taka. Now this is very easy. You know, it's very even. Most of the music, no matter where we're from, growing up to, listening to, we hear things in this kind of framework. Accent the ta. Ta, 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 ta. Accent the D. D, 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 D. Okay, now before you go on, that D is the same as that second, the ka. It's falling in the same place. Ka, 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 D, 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 D. So it's easy for us. We've already practiced it. The new ones are going to be the ka and the mi. The new ka in this taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, cut, 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 taka dimi, taka dimi, taka. The fourth one, the mi. Me, 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 me. So that's your homework. You have to practice all 4 of those, right? Like if I show it here again, or I'll do it here with my snap. Taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi. Kadimi, 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 kadimi. You have to practice each of those, and if you don't get comfortable with them, then as you go on, other rhythms will make you stumble. They have, just like if I go to a piano and I play C and then C sharp at the same time, that close interval, we call a minor second. It has a certain jarring sound. It's dissonant, right? Similarly, it has a certain, not that it's dissonant, but it has a certain tension to it, right? Rhythmic tension. Also, me, again, it has a certain feeling to it, right? Now, it should have that feeling, and we want to use that feeling So you're kind of coming behind the curtain as soon as you start studying. meaning, if you're in an audience and you're just listening, you get to feel experience the feeling of all these different rhythmic patterns from the musicians playing them, right? Now, when you're studying it and you want to play that music, you have to feel comfortable creating that tension. You see what I'm saying? You have to feel comfortable expressing these things so that it doesn't throw you off, right? But it should create that sort of rhythmic musical tension for anyone listening. Cut, 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 cut. But if I go cut, 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 then train wreck, right?
Mhm.
So it's just a skill we're developing. Yeah. Any questions on that? So this is something like this. I was teaching this all last week in China. Like it's something I'm always teaching, but also always studying myself. I maybe I'm just weird, but it's fascinating to me. Like it's such a simple thing, but it's like these fundamental building blocks that if you work on it, it gives you a very, very solid foundation rhythmically going forward. Now, I won't focus on this today, but I just want to show you then also sort of the possibilities of other exercises. Right, so we've just moved into this idea of 4 per beat. Right? And you're doing taka dimi, 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 ta, right? Now we should explore combinations of 2. So if you're comfortable with any of those patterns. Right, so taka dimi, taka dimi. So I'll just demonstrate them quickly, and then later we can, if you like, we can go over them together a little bit more. And you're always welcome to record this stuff and go over it later. So taka dimi, taka dimi. So take the first 2. Taka dimi, 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 taka dimi. Only 2 sounds. Taka dimi, 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 taka. So rest that. Taka dimi, taka dimi, taka. Try the next 2. Taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka. Only 2. Taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi. Yeah, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi. Rest that. Taka dimi, taka dimi. Take the next one. Taka dimi, 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 taka dimi. Take the last 2, taka, which is the 4th one and the first one. Taka dimi, 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 taka dimi. Right both, right both, right both, right both, right both. Yes. Taka dimi, 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 taka dimi. So there's 2 more. Taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi. 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi. So this is probably the easiest one. Taka dimi, taka dimi, taka dimi, taka. Then the last one's a little tricky. Let's slow it down. Taka dimi, 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 taka dimi. Right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. Dee, taka, dee, taka, dee, taka, dee, ta. Good. So 6 possibilities of 2. Taka, dee, 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 taka, dee. So it's very analytical, very logical, just breaking up all the possibilities. Then it's your sort of, you've prepared all your contingency plans. Meaning one syllable at a time or two syllables at a time. Now, because we have 4 syllables we're working with, we should also look at combinations of 3, right? So let's just look at that real quick. So taka di mi, 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 taka. Next one. Taka di mi, 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 taka. Good. Taka di mi, 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 taka di. There you go. Taka di mi, taka di mi, taka di. Next one. Taka di mi, 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 taka. Last one's a little tricky. Mi taka di mi, 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 taka. So there's 14 things to practice. If I do one syllable at a time, I have 4 possibilities. Right? You're following me? 4 being taka di mi, 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 taka di mi. Okay? Now when I do 2 at a time, I have actually 6 possibilities. The first 2, taka di mi, taka di mi. Second 2 is taka di mi, taka di mi. The third and fourth one, taka di mi, taka di mi. And the fourth and first one, taka di mi, taka di mi, taka di mi, taka di mi. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Now there's 2 more. First and third one, taka di mi, taka di mi, taka di mi. And then the second and fourth one, taka di mi, taka di mi. Right? Making 6. Okay? Now, combinations of 3, there's 4. First 3 syllables, taka di mi, taka di mi. The last 3 syllables, taka di mi, taka di mi. Syllables 3, 4, and 1, taka di mi, taka di mi, taka. And then syllables 4, 1, and 2. Taka di mi, taka, taka di mi, taka di mi, taka di mi, taka di mi. If you practice all of those 14 combinations, you'll be extremely adept at any possible rhythm that could happen in one beat of music if you're in a subdivision of 4 per beat. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking a microscope to one beat of music. First, we looked at one beat of music that hasn't been cut up at all. Ta, ta, ta. Then we cut that pie in half. Ta, ka, ta, ka. Then in equal thirds. Ta, ki, ta, ta, ki, ta. Now 4 per beat. Taka, di, mi, taka, di, mi. And looking at all the possibilities. Now we won't do it today, but in the Indian system, they keep going logically. Well, what about 5? What about 6? What about 7? What about 8, 9, 10, 11, you know? Right? But all the building blocks are here because every other rhythm is built off of the syllables you see up there. So take 5. I'll just demonstrate for a second, so don't worry about trying to get it. 5, I'm just going to combine 2 and 3. Taka, takita. Now I have a phrase of 5. Right? And I can subdivide the beat in 5 places equally. Taka, takita, taka, takita, taka, takita, taka, takita, taka, takita. And logically, I can go through all those combinations again. Taka takita, 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 takita, taka 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 takita, taka. They have a certain rhythm feeling. It's very unique to this kind of music. You can find it in other musics, but very interesting here.
Dave Brubeck.
Well, yeah. And why did he do that? He traveled with the State Department, and he was in Turkey,
Wow.
and he was in India. He was in all these places, and his ears opened up to these different things. So that's why you have Take 5. That's why you have Blue Rondo a la Turk. He had heard Turkish music in 11. Taka 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 takita taka 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 takita 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. It's 11.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Or 9. Sorry, not 11. 9. Right?
I don't know. Whatever.
1 2 1 2 1 2 6 1 2 3 9. Da 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 taka 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 takita taka 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 takita. Yeah. Now, what's interesting, as soon as you start doing this, you start hearing every kind of music in relationship to these concepts. It becomes very easy. It's like this key that opens up these locked treasure chests of music, and you can understand. When I was in China, I was teaching, I demonstrated this, and then I taught North Indian tabla rhythms, Onlo Ave, West African music from Ghana, and Balinese Kechak with this system. Because as soon as you subdivide the beat, you understand it, then no rhythm is going to throw you off. In a strict sense, of course, then the beauty happens when people start pulling and pushing the rhythm, and you can't transcribe, how Billie Holiday sings based on this, for instance, or even how, certain subtle things of how you would hear in tabla or sarod or this kind of stuff. But before you can get to that level of beauty and abstracting it, you have to have this firm, strong foundation. Yeah. Now, so look at what I did here, where it was 2 per beat, and then I used a phrase of 3, and then 3 per beat, and used a phrase of 2, right? Let's logically now we should try the same thing with 4 per beat. So we're going to keep a subdivision of 4. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Taka di mi, taka di mi. But then let's see what happens if we phrase in 2 and phrase in 3. Like taka di mi, taka di mi, taka di mi, taka di mi, taka 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 taka. You could say it's the same thing, but it's not. Now it's 2 and 2 instead of 4. Taka 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 di mi, taka di mi, taka. Now try 3. Taki ta 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 taki. Good. Taki ta taki ta taki ta taki. So do both hands when they come together. Taki ta 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 ta. So I'm taking the beat, I'm subdividing it by 4. I'm phrasing in 3. And in order for the pattern to work around, I have to say 4 phrases of 3 over 3 beats that are divided each in 4 places. It's the same concept here, meaning 4 phrases of 3, 3 times 4, over 3 beats divided by 4. I get 4 times 3, depending on how you look at it. 12 pulses. 1 2. So what it means is this: taka dimmi, taka dimmi, taka dimmi is equal to takita, 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 takita. Both are happening at the same time. Does that make sense? Now, people will call this again a polyrhythm. They'll say you're doing 4 over 3, meaning a pattern of 4 over a pattern of 3, right? But it's really 2 cycles happening at the same time because it's equal. The space between this note, this note, this note, this note is equal. The space between this note, this note, this note equal, right? Taka di mi, 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 taki ta 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 taki ta. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 and 3 at the same time. Yeah, you guys okay?
This is a lot.
I was just trying to like conceptualize what real polyrhythm would be then.
I'm the, you know, this is my little beef linguistically. Polyrhythm is, if I go, I'm creating a rhythm, right?
Uh-huh.
It's not that it's wrong, it's just that when something is it's just that that word gets used later on to describe something totally different. Like polyrhythmic music. Poly means many, rhythm means rhythms or patterns, right?
Or like music that would switch from one rhythm to another.
No, just even, I mean, every music is polyrhythmic, frankly, but it usually refers to music that has complex patterns happening that are syncopated on and off the beat sort of thing, right?
Mhm.
In this case, it's actually much simpler. You have equal sounds happening in time. The space between ta ta it's like a clock.
Yeah.
It's exactly perfect, right? Similarly, once I start dividing or phrasing in 3, that becomes equal. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Taka di mi, taka di mi, ta taka ta 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 ta. All very even. All very even. So there's 2 cycles happening at the same time. Does that make sense? Yeah. Don't worry about getting it conceptually so much. We'll keep the way that all this is taught is the first lesson is also the second lesson and the third lesson and the fourth. You keep coming back to it, coming back to it, coming back to it. You're confused, and then one day you come back to something from a totally different angle, and like, oh, that's what he was talking about 20 years ago. Yeah. Right. Now, how's our time? Okay. Now, so go back to Tal. So William showed you just the basic teka, the syllables.
Mhm.
We're going da, tin, ta, da, tin, da, tin, ta, tin, ta, da. So I'm going to show you a way to cheat a little bit that the Kathak dancers use, the North Indian dancers. So because you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Especially when it's slow, you can get a little bit lost. Is this my first clap? Is it the third clap? Is it the second clap? So the way they'll do it, the sum of the first beat of the cycle right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. The second section, do the clap out on the fingers. 5, 6, 7, 8. The middle section, how are you, is over here. 9, 10, 11, 12. The last section on the wrist. 13, 14, 15, 16. We always go from the outside of the hand in. So clap, pinky, ring, middle. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the fingers. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, taka, 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 taka. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Takita, 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 takita. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, taka, dimi, 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 taka. Good luck. Taka, dimi, taka, dimi, taka, dimi, taka, dimi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. Now, very hard to do it counting, right? Probably in almost, I don't know any language, but as soon as you get into polysyllabic words, it becomes difficult rhythmically. Now, if you take the syllables, the teka for this tala, or tintal, da, din, da. Try with me. From the top. Da, din, da, ta, din, da, din, da, te, din, taka, da, din, da, din, da, din, ta, te, din, da, din, da, din, da, din, da. Now 3 per beat. Let's just set it up. Takita, 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 takita. Take a da din din 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 da. Tinna ta din din da taka dimi taka dimi 4 per beat. Taka dimi 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 da din din da din din da din din da ta din din da din din da din din da din din da ta din din da din din da din din da din din da ta din din da din din da din din da din din da ta din din da. Now that tintal cycle does not change. The tempo stays the same. The pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, that stays the same. What's changing is the subdivision. 1 per beat, 2 per beat, 3 per beat, 4 per beat. And we're saying that teka in that subdivision. So first time it's 1 time through the teka, everything is 1 per beat. Then 2 times through the teka, everything's 2 per beat. Taka, 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 taka. The third one is difficult, and we'll go over it. We have to practice it, but it's dividing the beat in 3. Takita, takita, takita. Saying the teka 3 times at 3 per beat. And then the last one is actually easier than that, dividing the beat in 4, saying the teka 4 times at 4 per beat. So it's very mathematical, it's very systematic, but it's also that system, that logic, and the math is just a way to analyze it for a second. Because ultimately, I think it's the other way around. The music actually points out the math as opposed to the math pointing out the music. Do you know what I mean? You actually start to experience math musically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get the feeling of 3s and 4s and 5s and 7s and things. They sort of start to have a personality. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's tricky. Now, how do we practice that 3 per beat concept? So one combination that we haven't done, go back to 3 per beat. Takita, 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 takita. Keep the beat with that. Takita, 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 taka, 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 taka. That's okay now. Now go back to takita, takita, takita. Now let's see if we can phrase with taka dimi, 4 per beat. Takita, takita, taka dimi, 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 da ka di mi. So this is the feeling. Da ka di mi, da din din da 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 din din da da din din da da. That's the feeling that we're in. It's 3 per beat, but phrasing in groups of 4. Yeah? Make sense? We'll keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. The way that this music seems to be taught is there isn't like you put on your little flotation things and someone guides you deeply into the shallow end and you have a life jacket and everything. They push you into the middle of the deep end and you flail about for a long time. And then gradually you kind of get your legs and you see other people are doing it and you start to swim. So I'm just pushing you guys a little bit. Yeah. Now you guys had also done Japthal a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So we can do the same thing, right? Now here's a trick to get that. So Japthal is a cycle of 10, right? Now you can break that down and say, well, it's not 10 exactly, it's 2 5s, okay? And then you can break that down further, and what it really is 2 plus 3, 2 plus 3. That's how we break it up, okay? But before we go that far, just bring it back to 5, and let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, add one more finger, 5. So now we have a 5-beat cycle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, before we go to the Japthal Teka, let's look at the structure behind that 2 and 3. So go to these syllables. Taka is 2, takita is 3. So, ta, ka, ta, ki, ta, ka, ta, ki, ta, ka, ta, ki, ta, ka, ta, ki. Now give us taka, 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 ta. So we're feeling comfortable with 2 per beat, 5-beat cycle. Taka, 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 taka. Now do taka, taki, taka, 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 taki, 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 taka. Now try 3 per beat. Taki, taki. Let's slow down. Taki, 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 taki. Now try taka, taka, taki, 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 taka, ding me, taka, ding me, taka, ding me. Now 4 per beat, 5 beats like taka, ding me, 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 taka. Now try 5. Taka, ding me, taka, taki, 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 dina, di, dina, tina, di, dina, dina, di, dina, tina, di, dina, taka, taki, taka, taka, taki, taka, taki, ta. So that's the pathway to get to that. Okay? Now, the legit thing to do, let's do one more step. Are you guys okay? We're going a little longer here, but I just want to cover this and then we'll end. I'm supposed to have another class, but I think maybe got confused. So, go back to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D, na, D, D, na, T, na, D, D, na, D, na, D, D, na, T, na, D, double, D, E, 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 D, na, D, D, na, T, na, D, D, na, T, na, D, D, na, T, na, D, D, na, ti na, 3 ti na. Ta kita, ta kita, ta. Just set it up first. Ta kita, ta kita, ta kita, ta kita, ta kita, ta kita. Dina, di dina, 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 taka dimi, 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 dina, di dina, 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 dina, di dina. Okay. Circuits blown? Now let me just demonstrate, and maybe William did this with you, but to demonstrate the final legit way to keep the clapping pattern for Japtal is not this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now if you look at it, we have the same gesture or sound pattern as Tintal, meaning clap, clap, wave, clap. Okay? Tintal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4. Japtal, how we break up the spaces in between those patterns is different. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So I can do the same journey here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now check this out. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that with me first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Now try it like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. Now 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1 on the wrist. 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Ta, ka, ta, ki, ta, ta, ka, ta, ki, ta, ta, ka, ta, ki, ta, ta, ka, ta, ki, ta. Di, na, di, di, na, ti, na, di, di, na, ti, na, di, di, na, ti, na, di, di, na, di, di, na, ti, na, di, di, na, di, na, di, di, na, ti, na, di, di, na, di, na, di, di, na, ti, na, di, di, na, di, na, di, di, na, ti, na, di, di, na. Takita, 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 dina, di, dina, dina, di, dina, dina, di, dina. My mistake. Dina, di, dina, 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 takadimi, 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 dina, di, dina, 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 di, dina, dina, di, dina, dina, di, dina, dina, di, dina, dina, di, dina. So you've done kirtan,
Yeah.
Jai, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is this thing with this music that, you know, kirtan's a part of, that this music is this devotional thing, and it connects you to something in yourself, or bigger than yourself, in yourself. This music, this branch of this music, which is the classical side, same thing, but it's rather than singing and just doing kirtan and repeating over and over different mantras and shlokas and things. This, you bring your body into it, your mind, your breath, your body in terms of also playing. That kind of concentration and focus gets developed. And so it's I'm trying to say this in the right way. It's just another sort of doorway in to
Totally get that.
yeah, to develop. So
Your concentration is so intense, it's a meditation.
exactly. So what I'm trying to show you is that where we got to just now, these are all the building blocks pedagogically, step by step, to get you to that, to feel comfortable with it. And then you just keep practicing it. What's happening at the end there is quite complicated, right? You are keeping a very odd pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There's no sound there. That's very weird. Already, that's bizarre. There's a lot of space between here and that. So that's weird, to feel that much space. Then you get to like subdividing it in 3 and then reciting a phrase of 10, and there's a lot of concentration there. But there's a way to get to it, step by step. And then, I don't know, there's an odd joy to be able to do it. You know, you really kind of tune into something instead of maybe kind of tuning out, you know. There's a difference, right? Like someone could be in sort of an ecstatic state because they're totally spaced out, or an ecstatic state because they're totally focused and tuned in. Very different. From the outside it might look the same. But that's the difference of actually going through the discipline of studying a tradition, where it gets you, you know. And these masters, the Kansab and his father, and like they, Sopanji, you know, that's there's that step-by-step process that gets you to that place. It's not just going for the freedom without the discipline. And that's what this whole thing is about. It's very intense, the discipline and the theory and the concept and the training, but very quickly, as soon as you understand it, there's all of this freedom about it. It shows you how to be very creative, right? Most of this music is improvised music, but they give you very strict rules, like a game. Like, here are the rules of the game. If you follow those rules, then you can play, you know? And so what we're doing in this class is there's 2 rules in North Indian classical music. There's the rule of Tala, or the rhythm and rhythm cycles, and Raga, the rule of the melody. And when you study both of those, then you have this music, basically. You know? You don't have harmony, like in Western music. You don't have all the rules of harmony and how notes go together in that way. So instead, they've developed very, very, very deeply the rhythm side and the melody side. Yeah. Any questions?
That odd space that you speak of,
Yeah.
which for me is the wave, where you said that there's no rhythm. What is the motivation or the intention behind it? Is that to keep the focus rather than kind of spacing out to the rhythm, or will that be revealed later as you play more?
You'd have to go in a time machine and find, you know, which person zillions of years ago came up with the concept. But you have this concept of Kali. Kali means, in English we spell it Khali. So not Kali, like the Hindu goddess Kali. Kali means empty. So you have the negative space, right? There's something just inherently musical about it. If we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It's driving. But it follows nature. It's like the wave comes in and the wave pulls out, right? You have night and day, you have the seasons, right? So you have that cycle. There's a section that not as much as is happening. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dina, 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 dina. Why it's there, I don't know why, but I can give you my feeling and theory about what it accomplishes by being there. You know, just having that it's like in breath and out breath. It's very or masculine and feminine or yin and yang. You have that balance
That makes sense.
in the rhythm, right? Especially later on when you study Tala, like these guys here are studying, and you learn. You've done some classes, right? So you've learned Bori and Kali of these compositions, right? Or you're starting to learn, right? So if you take, like, did you learn any kaida phrase from Nikhil?
Mm-hmm.
So what's a kaida that you learned?
Oh, I don't remember.
Like datete,
Yeah.
da datete? Okay.
Yeah.
So in the kaidas you have open and closed sections too, right?
Right.
Like datete, datete, da datete, dagetinagena, tatete, 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 dagedinagena. There's a balance of that. If you didn't have that, datete, datete, da datete, dagedinagena, datete, datete, da datete, dagedinagena, it's like a rant. But when you have the contrast of open and closed sounds of that bass drum, of the baya, you have this musicality. It's very beautiful. It has this flow somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's as much as I can come up with.
That helped a lot.
That was
I
a
loved
lot.
it. Thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably in some old treatises you'll find some reason behind it exactly, but no one really knows as far as I know. Like, where does it come from? Kali, why is it there? There's some theory around all of these rhythms come from the Vedas, from the Hindu texts and how they chant those. A lot of the chuns or movement or rhythm comes from the chanting of all of that. I don't know any of that. I couldn't recite it for you. So probably if we dug deep into it, maybe there's something in the shlokas about that, the Vedas themselves. I don't know.
Isn't it also though just to let you know that the end of the cycle's coming and the
Well, that's another. That's a. See, I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
much more practical and less esoteric explanation. Yeah, if you don't have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's hard to sort of see a cycle. It's very just going straight ahead,
Yeah.
as opposed to this circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and showing that okay, we're halfway there and now we're going back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably.
It's a good one too.
Can I quote you? Good. Well, so you had the book, the Sati book, but also probably Wallace or Mary told you, we have on the website this if you go to the concert experience, if you look on aacm.org and look on there's a button called the concert experience. And there's a video of our teacher Swapanji and Concept son Alam on this stage playing a concert, like a little informal concert. And you can press on buttons that'll be like, questions will pop up, like, why is the tabla player doing this right now? Or what's that drone instrument in the background? But you can also connect to links that show all of these different talas. And you can listen to them. You can hear someone recite them, and then someone play them on tabla.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
So you can hear Team Tal, you can hear Jap Tal, you can hear Rupak, all of these things.
Mm.
There's another one that shows the ascending and descending scales of ragas. Again, someone singing them, and then someone maybe playing on sitar or sarod or something like this.
Wow.
And then another one that shows a lot of the traditional instruments, and it'll give you like YouTube links to someone playing a sarod or sitar or sarangi or
Wow,
something.
somebody put a lot of time into that.
A lot of time into that. So that's a great resource. That's a great resource. And remind me too, we can, because you mentioned even just hearing, most of this is ear training, frankly. So, we can also try to listen to some music in here and try to hear where is, even just Team Tal. Team Tal can go from ba, din, like this speed, even slower sometimes to da 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 to like incredibly fast. So you have this huge range of tempos of just those 16 beats, you know. Okay, thanks you guys.
Thank
you.
you.
Nice to meet
That
you
was
finally.
great.
Nice to meet you also, and we'll see you
Yes.
in a week. And
So I usually have a meeting that's at like